I've lived in this apartment complex for almost 4 years, and honestly, nothing interesting ever happens here. It's quiet, suburban, filled with young professionals and retired couples. Everyone minds their own business, until he moved in. Apartment 3B had been empty for months after the previous tenant broke their lease. Then, one Friday evening, a black pickup pulled into the parking lot, and out came this guy, late 30s, tall, clean cut, wearing a flannel shirt and a kind of easy smile that made you instantly trust him. He introduced himself as Chris, said he was just starting over, and worked remotely in cybersecurity. At first, everything about him screamed normal. He'd wave when passing by, helped older neighbours carry groceries, even brought donuts to the leasing office one morning. He was the kind of neighbour everyone wishes they had. I lived directly across from him, apartment 3A, and maybe that's why I started noticing little things. About a week after he moved in, I woke up around 2:30 a.m. because of a faint humming sound. It wasn't loud, just steady, mechanical. When I peeked through the peephole, I saw Chris's door slightly open. Inside, there was this faint bluish light flickering, like from several monitors. I figured, okay, maybe he's working late. Cybersecurity, remember? But then it started happening every night, always between 2 and 4 a.m., always the same low hum, the same glow through his blinds. Once I saw him carrying boxes into his apartment at 3 a.m. Heavy ones. When I asked him the next morning what he was up to, he laughed and said, "You ever start a project you can't stop working on?" His tone was friendly, but something about his eyes felt off. Chapter 2. The Package. One afternoon, a delivery guy knocked on my door by mistake. He had a package for 3B, but the labels were smudged. It was from some tech company I didn't recognize. Vigilant Systems. The box was marked Confidential Hardware, Handle with Care. When I gave it to Chris later that day, he looked startled for half a second, then smiled and said, "Ah, that's just some old work equipment." But the weird thing, that night the humming got louder. A few days later, I ran into Mason, a 9-year-old kid from apartment 2C. He told me something that made my stomach twist. He said he'd seen the man from 3B taking pictures of the playground when no one else was around. Not of the kids playing, but of the empty swings, the gate, the benches. It didn't sound like much, but something about that detail felt wrong. When I asked Chris about it, he didn't even deny it. He just said, "I like symmetry. I'm into photography. Helps me relax." Chapter 4. The Power Outage. Then came the power outage. One stormy night, around midnight, the entire block went dark. I grabbed a flashlight and stepped into the hallway, only to see light still coming from under Chris's door. "How?" I knocked softly. No answer. Then I heard voices inside. I froze. It sounded like a conversation, multiple people but robotic, distorted, like radio chatter or police scanners. When I leaned closer, I caught a phrase that made my heart pound. "Target grid locked. Continue surveillance, surveillance." For the next few days, I couldn't stop thinking about it. Was I imagining things? Was I being paranoid? I even tried convincing myself it was some kind of role-playing game or work thing. But then I got an email from the apartment management, a warning. It said there had been unauthorized Wi-Fi networks appearing in the building, and they were investigating possible data breaches. The name of one of those networks: Grid 3B. The last straw came 2 weeks later. I came home from work, exhausted, dropped my bag, and noticed my living room window was slightly open. I never leave it open. When I looked closer, I saw tiny scratch marks on the frame, like someone had forced it. I called the building security immediately. They checked, didn't find anything missing, but said they'd keep an eye on it. That night, I couldn't sleep. At around 1:45 a.m., I heard footsteps in the hallway, slow, deliberate. Then a soft knock on my door. I froze, didn't move. After a moment, a voice whispered, "You shouldn't have seen that package." I couldn't breathe. When I looked through the peephole, all I saw was an envelope taped to my door. Inside was a single USB drive, no note. It took me 3 hours to work up the courage to plug it in. The folder inside was named EYES. There were dozens of video files, labelled with apartment numbers 2A, 2C, 3A, my apartment. The recordings showed people's living rooms, bedrooms, even bathrooms. They were all grainy, night vision style, hidden cameras, and every file was dated within the last month. He'd been spying on everyone, including me. Chapter 8. The police. I went straight to the police. So, Reddit. Do you think he ever stopped watching? Or is he still out there, rebuilding his network, one apartment at a time? Some monsters don't live next door, some sleep beside you. This next story is about one of them. I never thought I'd be one of those people posting a story like this, but what happened last weekend still gives me chills, and honestly, I don't know what to believe anymore. So, my boyfriend Alex and I booked an Airbnb for a short getaway in upstate New York. It was supposed to be this cozy cabin, wood interior, fairy lights, the whole romantic escape from the city vibe. The host had great reviews. Everything seemed perfect. When we got there, it was exactly like the photos, maybe even better. We unpacked, opened some wine, and started playing old jazz music on the speaker. It was one of those nights where everything feels like a movie, until it didn't. Around midnight, I went to take a shower. The bathroom mirror looked a bit weird, like it had this small circle reflection near the corner. At first, I brushed it off, but something about it bothered me, so after I got out, I turned off the lights, pointed my phone flashlight at the mirror, and froze. There was a tiny, blinking red light behind the glass. A camera. My heart just dropped. I called Alex, shaking, trying to explain, but when he came in, his reaction wasn't what I expected. He looked at it, and instead of freaking out like I did, he just said, "It's probably part of the smoke alarm or something." But I knew it wasn't. I started checking the rest of the cabin, in the lamp, in the smoke detector, even behind the TV. And then I found 2 more hidden lenses, one facing the bed. I wanted to leave immediately, but Alex got angry. He said I was ruining the trip and being paranoid. I didn't understand why he was defending this place. When I said I was calling the cops, he grabbed his jacket and stormed out. He didn't come back that night. The next morning, I packed my things and left alone. 2 days later, the police contacted me after checking the property. They found recordings, recent ones, of different guests. But here's the twist. They also found a folder with my name on it. And the first recording, it was me and Alex checking in. When they traced the uploaded files, the account they led to was his, my boyfriend's. He'd been setting up hidden cameras in rentals for months. I don't even know how to process it. The man I loved, the man I thought I was building a future with, was recording strangers. He was arrested. And me? I still can't take a shower without covering the mirror.
Both of these stories still give me chills. But I want to know what you think. Should I do a part 2? Drop your thoughts below. And remember, not everything is what it seems.